You are welcome to our beautiful program, Your Image, the public relations program that connects you with the people, that connects you for developmental strides, that connects you to reshape this nation and ensure that there is development, there is mutual coexistence, there is peace and prosperity in the nation. Today, I'm having two great men. Let me first of all say, welcome, Chief Shina Luwoye. He is an entrepreneur, a national leader of repute when we talk of labor relations. He is also the president of ABEOKUTA Economic Council. You're welcome, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Pleased to have you. And also with me, I have Mr. Chris Coker. He is also the vice president of ABEOKUTA Economic Council. We are looking at political engagement, and the topic is setting agenda for political leaders in 2023. Remember, I'm still your host, Akin Kudero. Today, we're going to look at this critical moment where everyone is engaging the political leaders. Come 2023, we are having the presidential election, National Assembly elections, and then other elections. Chief Luwoye, how critical and beneficial is political engagement to the community and to the people?
Thank you very much, the presenter. It's nice being here this afternoon.
Nice having you.
And I must commend the state government for the investments they have made in the new edifice of OGTV. I'm really amazed when I got here this afternoon. How critical is engagement to setting the political agenda for any country? I think we can never overemphasize that. The whole of issues of development, about the life of people, about people who are living in a country, about development, economic development, whatever you want to do in any country is all about engagement. And what really is engagement is A and B discussing issues that A, we understand B's perspective, and B, we understand A's perspective, and they have a common agenda about how things should be done. Now, in advanced economies, or we like to call advanced democracies, the whole political engagement starts from the grassroots.
Okay.
In fact, from the unit level. You can't even say the local level. In advanced democracies, for a representative to come out, your engagement even starts with your family. To say, oh, Mike, I don't think you are good for that position. So you see, for example, in the last election in the US, you saw somebody coming from the immediate past president family to tell Americans that he was unfit to rule America. So the whole engagement starts from the micro level. Before you then go to the community level, that you have to go and sell. You have to be, first of all, be identified with the problems that the communities are facing. You have to come up with solutions that
Creative solutions
that can make that community better than where it is. So it's always about adding on to whatever they have gained. So it is not from, even at the national level, you cannot formulate level policies without the add up, the aggregate of all the issues, even from the local level to the local government, to the state government, and to the federal government. And of course, that is where politicians derive their mandate from. So when you talk about mandate, the mandate is the outcome, a product of a series of political engagements that have summarized the people's needs and what to do to deliver their needs to them.
Thank you very much. Mr. Coker.
Okay, yes.
We've been having mandates.
Okay.
We've been having visions.
Yes.
And we've been having ideas.
Yes.
And we've been having political leaders
Yes.
who are represented at the local government, House of Reps, and Senate,
and
even at the executive level.
Yes.
Why are we where we are?
Everything ties down to engagement, as my president mentioned now. In most cases, when you are going to a political situation, a position like that, you have to understand what you are getting into. In most cases, what we have here, that's why there is a disconnect between the led and the leaders. You need to connect with the two of them so that when you go in there, people will expect the people that you are leading will actually work with you. And that's why you see there is a little bit of disconnect in what we have in our own situation, which the government is doing better with a lot of information that is given to people, a lot of talks, and but we can do better. That's the way I see it.
Yeah, we can do better. Chief Luwoye, I agree we can do better. Which way forward? Let's look at your council. What is the vision that you now have for these coming legislatures?
Now, Egbe Economic Summit is a group of intellectuals that have come together to promote the economic and infrastructural development of Egba land and people living in Egba land. Though we have the name Egba Economic Summit, you mean to say that, oh, it is for the Egba people only? No. So everybody who has economic interest in Egba land, significant economic interest in Egba land, can join Egba Economic Summit.
People from other nations,
even the Egba Economic Summit. Because what are we saying? We are coming to the micro level to say, for development to happen in Nigeria, development will touch every part of Nigeria. Before you call Nigeria a developed state, development must happen at every grassroots, every nooks and crannies of Nigeria. Abuja is not Nigeria. Neither is Lagos, Nigeria. Every nooks and crannies of Nigeria is most developed. And development can only happen by the people. So for us, we are coming as we are not politicians. And it's not by politicians alone. A politician cannot make a nation. Businessmen are needed. Teachers, trade unions, trade association, market women, the balance, the KBACs. We all can come together. We are the people that can define how we want our community to be. Look at all the politicians we have in Nigeria. Political A, B, C, D, and even the new A and B, they all have similar agenda. It is as if one person sat down in his bedroom and wrote the manifestos of all the major political parties in Nigeria. And that is to tell you, the politicians are very, very much disconnected. That is how the idea of a Egbe Economic Summit came up. And it's not a new thing. Perhaps you may want to know. We have the Nigeria Economic Summit Group, which is a body of businesses and also people who are intellectually inclined who engage government from time to time on policy issues. And they try to influence policy issues. The same thing in the Egbe Economic Summit. Our tools is one, is advocacy, to tell people, look, this is what we need. This is good for us. Two is engagement. We are not combative. We are not a pressure group, but rather we are an engagement group to talk to any government in power, whether we don't care whether A is elected or B is elected. But how do we make when people are elected, when the senators are elected, when the members of House of Representatives are elected, how do we have an engagement sessions with them to make them accountable, to make them closer to the people, to make them deliver on the earnings of the people?
Thank you very much. Okay. How receptive is this environment to industrial development? That is first question. And I also want to ask you, when we are looking at the receptiveness, how much of technology are we involving?
Okay, receptiveness to a business environment is still evolving in our environment. Because when you have room to improve, we are not there yet. but we are doing much better. We can look at it from the Ogun State situation, whereby if you want to process your land now, in those days, there are technologies that they use now. Lamps that they are mentioning, that's a good one. If you want to collect your tax papers now, there's a lot of technology.
Automation.
Yes, automation. You don't have to go through it the way it was before. That's why I said in the environment, we can get there. But it's better, when it's just a race that 1,000 miles race, you have to start with the first step. We are way down up the trip, but we are not there yet. And then there's still,
we are better than we are
10 years ago. Whereby if you have to have a CFO in the state, you have to go through a lot to get it. But now you will get your CFO, but it's much more easier to get. Nowadays because there's a lot of automation. I will commend the government on that. And then the second item you mentioned on the reception.
Yeah.
When government gives you a program, there's always resistance everywhere. But when government says this is what they want to do and they stick by it, people will just align. And they will do it. That's when they will see that, this is very good, it's better than where they were coming from. So that's the way I see reception in this case. Because people will always resist any change.
Thank you very much.
I also must add to that.
Okay.
Our people are very enterprising.
Yes.
Our people are very receptive. In fact, Ogun State is probably the most, like we say in a balance,
accommodating.
Civilization starts from here.
Okay.
So, you go to Shakmo, you go to any market, whether you are Igbo or you are from Benue State, we are receptive to everybody.
Yeah, everybody.
And we have co-locate with people. We are the more cosmopolitan. We are the first cosmopolitan city in the whole of West Africa. Even before the advent of Lagos City.
Yes.
ABEOKUTA was the center. Yeah. So our people are very receptive to businesses. And you don't see youths or ballers harassing any business here.
Because
like you have in other parts of Nigeria.
Exactly.
So we are receptive, and you can see along the corridor of Kobape Shagamu Road, there are a lot of development there. You probably cannot get the land on the first course there.
Yes, correct.
You have to go for the second course there to get land. So we are very receptive.
Yeah, I can also admit that because a lot of businesses are thriving in the city, but there's an area of concern. How do we get our political leaders to improve the laws of the youths? What probably I need to illustrate, we have a lot of them roaming the streets, and if we have industries, if we have technical people, then to further improve their well-being.
Thank you very much. That's a very, I am happy that you've touched about that today. We also worry about that in the Economic Summit.
Correct.
For example, our country is in a situation today where if somebody just do this like this, he has become a star, an idol.
Okay.
And that is, we might think out of 1,000 youths that are doing this, one became a star. We may think that our children are doing well.
No.
But it is getting bad in this country.
Yes.
That we, the older generation, we need to do something to redirect the mind of the society.
So how do we redirect?
Good. One of the things we used to do there, if you remember, when you and I were in secondary school, when I came here today, I went down there to the old OGTV. When I remember Olusegun Kishola, that we used to attend inter-schools debates. On Thursdays, on Sundays. That is what you listen to on the radio. That is what we all look forward to, becoming representatives of our various schools in inter-schools debates, inter-6 again. So there's no reward for, a state that produces 1,000 first-class students, not just in Nigeria, even abroad, where our children came up with first-class degrees in even in reputable universities outside Nigeria. But somebody will go to BB house where nudity and all sort of obscenity is promoted. and he will come back to be given a house. Well, that is not promoting the youth. We need to change our psyche. So for us, this year, what we're going to do is to reopen inter-schools debate in Ebaland. And we will enjoin our brothers in the eastern flank of Ogun State and the western flank of Ogun State to also embark on that. Yes. So that the champion from Egba Central, Ogun Central, can also go and face the champion from east and the west. Yes. And on the Lagos-Ibadan Express Road, we can have the poster of the best school or the most brilliant students from Ogun State in that year there. That will begin to change the attitude of our children. Second one, vocational studies have totally collapsed. Today, if you are building a house, you engage maybe about 200 youths to finish the house from foundation to the top level. You're probably not going to get 5 workers from Ogun State. They are either from Benue State, they are from Central Nigeria, or they are from neighboring countries. That needs to change. There is no country that can advance without evolving and adopting hard technologies.
Well, that brings to mind, because you touched on the area of attitude. I want to ask Mr. Coker.
Yes.
When we look at the attitude of our business people, let me come down to the local people who are in markets.
Okay.
How do we change the attitude to have a modern approach to doing business?
Yeah, everything ties to where the development you give to them when they are very young. In most cases, when they say that they can just wake up and then just beat some 2 drums together and become something else, why do they want to waste their time learning a skill? But when you start teaching them right from when they are very junior, very young, that life is more than just one tied to one profession and only one. So, like when we were younger, I mean, it's like when you were younger, when all of us were younger, we know where we want to get to. All of us were not facing a particular place. So, I believe everything ties to what my president mentioned, that when you start having, debating societies, you have a lot of information to tell them that there are chances for you. Like, there's a lot of vacancies all over the place now, and these are places you can make money. And you find out that when people that don't want to do it here in Nigeria go out, that's what they go and do. Most of them will now go and do the menial jobs that they refuse to do here. That's true. Everything ties to, like we said earlier, engagement. You need to engage people. You need to let even the parents. Everything ties to parents before you even get to the kids. Because when your kid doesn't have any job, it's like a first-year student and is driving a Mercedes. How do you explain that? But our parents will even encourage them and tell them that, the kid in the other yard was doing the same. Why can't you do it? So we need to orientate people right from the parents all the way down to a kid that will be born the next day.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yes.
What's your vision for the next set of political leaders to always come back and have regular engagement with the constituents?
Thank you very much. There are 2 sets of political leaders we have identified. There is the executive arm and the legislative arm.
Yes.
Quite often we pay our attention to what is going on, what the executives are doing. But there is one very critical area we are not paying attention to. That is the legislative houses. And we have forgotten that there is nothing the executive can do, most often, without the legislative approval. Therefore, for these 4 years, we are going to pay very serious attention to the legislative houses. Right from the way they are elected. The Economic Summit is on Tuesday. We are having a engagement session. Okay. Retreats with all the candidates of all the political parties representing the 6 local governments in Ogun State.
Okay.
So we want to have the idea, because the 10th assembly is going to be more challenging and more topical than all the assemblies we have had in Nigeria, because of issues that are coming up. One issue that will come up in the 10th assembly is the amendment to the PIA, Petroleum Industry Bill.
Yeah.
There are agitations coming up from there. And Ogun State very soon is going to join the League of Oil Producing States. 2, Water Resources Bill. This is very critical to Egba land. Okay. Remember how. Now, the whole world has paid attention to Egba land on water and public sanitation since 1930.
Okay.
In fact, before 1930, when Egba United Kingdom borrowed money from UK to provide public water for ABEOKUTA.
Yes.
Why was that supported? Because there was massive cholera in ABEOKUTA. The first major problems they were faced when we got to ABEOKUTA, when population started to expand, was cholera. So for us, water is very critical. It's a matter of life and death.
Water is
in
life.
ABEOKUTA. Yeah. So the second one, when you discuss the water resource bill, we already know the resources that are put in the hands of federal government, how difficult it is to get. Does it mean that then, if you approve the water resource bill, it could be that most of the houses along Shokori will then belong to the federal government? Or before you fetch your water from Shokori, or before you drill borehole in ABEOKUTA, you need the federal government approval. Is that what we want to get? Somebody will then be charging you 300,000 naira, 500,000 naira to give to somebody before you get water. The same thing was happening in power. 2, we need to get involved to decentralize power generation and also to take it more to micro level. That has been done to a certain extent in this regime, but that law still needs to be reviewed to allow communities and housing estates to be able to generate their own power themselves.
That's lofty.
Yeah, that is the way.
Yes.
Well, that is the way. We will have to stop at this level. We still have a lot to tackle on this issue of political engagement or setting agenda for our political leaders in the year 2023. You've been enjoying Chief Shina Luwoye and Mr. Chris Coker, both of the Egba Economic Council, and they've been sharing their views on how they can prepare business, on how they can change the landscape to ensure that we have a new life in Ogun State, in ABEOKUTA. Until next week, when we will continue with this chat, I want to say thank you for being with us.
You're welcome, sir.
You're welcome.
You've shown the great talent of a labor leader, and we are going to tap more.
What's a labor leader?
A labor leader.
Yeah.
Mr. Coker.
Yes.
Thanks. You've been beautiful.
Thank you.
Thanks for your contribution.
Thanks for inviting us.
Until next week.
Yes.
Where we complete this aspect.
Okay.
Viewers, this is the moment we just have to put a stop to this conversation. Join us next week to complete this discourse. Bye. Remember, your anchor is Akin Kudero. See you.